Good afternoon, Mrs. McDaniel here. Going to talk a little bit about RL 3.9. We've already gone over the standard. I'm going to add this target to it, and it's very similar, so let me read it to you, and then we'll talk a few minutes about it. Compare and contrast a literary text's portrayal of time, place, and characters with historical facts and non-fictional accounts of the same period. So in this case, we're talking about the real live Sphinx that is in Egypt. It's a guardian statue over all of the pyramids. There's also a mythological creature called the Sphinx, and that is in both Greek and Egyptian mythology. So you're comparing those two things, okay? Let me read you a little bit on the Sphinx. So the Sphinx was a mythical creature with the head of a lion and the body of a lion and the head of a human falcon or ram. The Sphinx is found in both ancient Egyptian and Greek mythology. In Egyptian myth, the Sphinx was more of a symbol than an individual entity. It was a guardian figure, the protector of the pyramids, the scourge of the enemies of Re, the sun god. It also represented the pharaoh and the pharaoh's divine power. Sometimes the face of a carved or painted sphinx was meant to resemble a particular pharaoh. In Greek mythology, the Sphinx was a monster. Some accounts note that it had the body and tail of a lion, the face of a woman, the wings of a bird, and it was an offspring of Typhon and Echinida, who also bore such other monsters as Hydra and Chimera, the many-headed dog Orpheus, and nasty gorgons. In the story of Oedipus, the goddess Hera sent the Sphinx to plague the people of the ancient city of Thebes. This was punishment for an ancient crime, possibly the failure to atone for the crimes of a former king, Thebes. The Sphinx sat perched on a mountain cliff nearby the ancient city. The creature guarded Thebes with a riddle that she had learned from the Muses. Each time a traveler failed to solve her riddle, she devoured them, effectively preventing anyone from leaving or entering the city. The riddle: what being has 4 legs, then 2, then 3? Some accounts write it: what has 4 legs in the morning, 2 in the noon, and 3 in the evening? After many people guessed incorrectly and were killed, the king of Thebes announced that he would give the kingdom to anyone who could solve the riddle. The road past Mount Phaikon, where the Sphinx awaited her victims, was strewn with the bones of people who had failed to find the right answer. Eventually, Oedipus, fleeing Corinth, solved the riddle. He answered: man who crawls on all 4s as a baby, then walks on 2 legs, and finally needs a cane in old age. Upon hearing the correct answer, the Sphinx jumped from the cliff to her death. The plagues of Thebes was lifted.